This is a difficult mission, and it will remain difficult for some time. It's going to take time to dislodge these terrorists, especially from urban areas. But our coalition is on the offensive. ISIL is on the defensive, and ISIL is going to lose.
President Obama speaking today after asking Congress to authorize military force against the terrorist group ISIS. The move comes just a day after confirmation that American Kayla Mueller had been killed while in captivity by the Islamic State. So what type of results would action like this from the president and Congress have on the fight against the terror group? Brian Kingshott joins us tonight. He's a retired Scotland Yard detective and a current GVSU professor. Brian, thanks for coming in tonight. We appreciate it. The president made a big distinction today. He doesn't want this to be a ground war, but a lot of his critics say that ground troops are exactly what's going to be needed to eliminate this threat.
Well, yes, but I don't think that's going to be the case. I don't think you need the ground troops there. You need to understand what it is when they say ISIL. ISIL is really, the last L is Levant, and Levant means the whole of the Eastern Mediterranean, which takes in Lebanon, and Syria, as well as parts of Turkey. So when we look at the area, it's difficult for the American public to understand we're not just talking about Syria, we're not just talking about one small area of Iraq. It's a much, much bigger. We're moving back towards this idea of the Levant, the countries that were part of the old Ottoman Empire. And so we need to destroy the ideology that underpins all this. And we can't do that without the support of those nations in that area, and once we have that, that will mean that we won't have to put ground troops on the air.
I was going to say, Americans, I think, were a little heartened to see Jordan get engaged to a level that we hadn't seen before. United Arab Emirates now getting a little bit back into the game as well. The United States needs help in the Middle East. They need partners in that region.
Yeah, yes, they do, and primarily for the ideology, the perverted religious ideology that underpins this idea of the Islamic State. And now the actions have been against some of the Arab countries like Jordan and the Jordanian pilot. We can see that ISIL has developed from just one group into a very large group, and to make its point, it's becoming very, very violent against its prisoners and how it actually kills them. So this is why we saw the use of the fire against the Jordanian pilot, and also all the beheadings. And of course, there has been burying alive there as well. So there's lots of violence there, and now the people that are being affected, the Jordanians and all those in that Eastern Mediterranean area, they are now going to have to say, well, this isn't acceptable, and they've got to come and say this ideology is perverted and go back to the true Quran.
What's going to need to happen as far as military action to achieve a tipping point in this fight against ISIS?
I think it's just going to be the normal support of the US for those countries that are standing up. We can't take the lead because it's not our culture, it's their culture, it's their country. We need to play the support role. At the moment, we're not playing the support role, we're taking on the lead role. Now we need to step back and say, we will support you, and I think that's where the success will be.
Is it smart to put a 3-year deadline on that? The critics also come out and say like that you shouldn't put a deadline on anything like this.
Well, this is a control of the president's powers, really, just to say that we're authorizing this, and that means there has to be an exit strategy. When we went into Iraq, we didn't have an exit strategy, and we were there for many more years than we shouldn't have been. So that limit is really to say, okay, we'll agree with your plan, but give us the exit.
For the public, yes.
Yeah,
Brian
yes, need that.
With GVSU. Brian, thanks for coming in tonight. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you.